How to get timestamp of closest keyframe before a given timestamp with FFmpeg? I want a FFmpeg seeking command that's fast and accurate. I found this. The solution is that we apply SS for both input, fast seeking, and output, accurate seeking. But, if the input seeking is not accurate, how can we be sure that the seeking position is accurate? For example, if we wanted to seek to 003, the command is something like: the first SS will seek to somewhere else, not 00 column 02 column 30, say 00 column 02 column 31. And after applying the second seek, the final result would be 00 column 03 column 01, not what we want. Is that correct? Where does the first SS seek to? Does it seek to the keyframe that is closest to 00 column 02 column 30? If so, here is my thought. Correct me if I'm wrong. After first seeking, we get the timestamp of the result. In this example, 00 column 02 column 31. Then we apply second seeking with appropriate time. In this case, 00 column 0 column 29. Question is, how do we get timestamp of the first seek result?
To literally answer your title's question, you can get a list of iframes with. You can further limit this to the necessary output by adding show underscore entries frame equals pkt underscore pts underscore time, picked underscore type. To see which frame is closest, comes after, a certain timestamp, you'd first need to find out all timestamps of the keyframes, for example with awk. First, define the time you want to look for example, 30 meters which equals to 150s. For example, this would return 150.400,000. Note that when using SS before FFmpeg will locate the keyframe previous to the seek point, then assign negative PTS values to all following frames up until it reaches the seek point. A player should decode but not display frames with negative PTS, and the video should start accurately. Some players do not properly respect this and will display black video or garbage. In this case, the above script can be used to find the PTS of the keyframe after your seek point, and use that to start seeking from the keyframe. This, however, will not be accurate. Note that if you want to be super accurate while seeking, and retain compatibility with many players, you should probably convert the video to any lossless, intra-only format, where you could cut at any point, and then re-encode it. But this will not be fast.
I understand this question is several years old, but the latest version of Probe has the ability to skip frames. You can pass in skip underscore frame no key to report info only on the keyframes, iframes. This can save you a lot of time. On a 2GV10 80p MP4 file it used to take 4 minutes without the skip frames. Adding the skip parameter it only takes 20 seconds. Command. Results. So the results will only contain info regarding the keyframes.
Building on SLHEK's answer, here's a bash function which will return the closest keyframe that occurs before n seconds. This also makes use of read underscore intervals to ensure that probe only starts looking for your keyframe 25 seconds before n seconds. This trick and having awk exit when the timestamp is found greatly speeds things up. Example usage. I use this to trim video files without re-encoding them. Since you can't add new keyframes without re-encoding, I use FFmpeg to seek to the keyframe before I want to cut. Here's an example. Note that for that example you may need to change the format of what's passed in the SS param if you're seeking farther than first 60 seconds. Annoyingly, telling FFmpeg to seek to exactly to the timestamp of the keyframe seems to make FFmpeg exclude that keyframe in the output, but subtracting half a seconds from the keyframe's actual timestamp does the trick. For bash you need to use BC to evaluate expressions with decimals, but in ZSH, SSO or column O or column $$ input.nkv28-0.5 works.
To build upon previous answers, you can use the following command on any platform to output only a list of the times at which keyframes are located. The command will return the keyframe before or exactly on the first read_intervals value and a list of keyframes within read_intervals values, with the second value being exclusive. You can fine-tune the interval so that the command will only return a single keyframe either before or after your target timestamp. So for example, running this command on a video with keyframes every 8 seconds will yield but changing read_intervals to 22% 24 will yield
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.